Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello!
Welcome to the Dice Tower Winter Spectacular and Board Game Breakfast. Z is here after 409 episodes.
Much Christmas cheer I bring to you on this, a glorious day. And if perhaps you stick around, well, maybe I'll also stay.
You're a mean one, Mr. Z. All right, well, welcome to the Winter Spectacular. I hope you guys are ready for a lot of fun. We have 4 straight days here of content. We've put a lot of this together in the past. Some of it's live, like this is. The rest of it, there's a lot of top 10 lists and things. So, a couple things before we get started. First of all, welcome, and we hope you enjoy it. Say hi to people in the comments. Second, we have a contest that we're running for That Time You Killed Me, which is kind of a weird name to say. This is a 2-player game from Pandasaurus, a time travel game where you're jumping around in time. One of you invented time travel. The other is going back in time to murder that person. You're just not sure who's who. It's whoever wins.
Right.
Whoever wins is the person who invented time travel.
Okay.
Anyway, you can win a copy of this. We have 2 copies here for the U.S. And all you have to do to enter this contest is to email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put elephants. Why elephants? Well, because you should look in the game components. In fact, you need to answer that question in the body. What components are introduced in Chapter 2? It's not elephants.
That's
so
good.
We didn't do that this time. That's Chapter 3 is elephants. Chapter 3 is elephants. So
that's right, yeah.
So what's in Chapter 2? Anyway, so that's one thing. Second thing, our top 100 games of all time. We always do that every January, and we have the People's Choice voting for that. So you can go vote. If you want your voice to be heard, go to our website, dicetower.com, look in the top 10 links there, and at the very bottom it says Vote Top 100. And you can vote for up to 100 games. Most people will not vote for 100 games, but vote for as many as you want. Remember, your number 1 game is your number 1 game. It gets counted more than your number 2 game,
right,
etc. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing this week briefly, in the sense of we're going to be doing top 10 lists all this week and things about the best games of the year. What games came out this year? Well, just as a heads up, we're just going by games that came in the studio and that we played and that we're pretty confident we would consider a 2021 game. We did not play all the games. In fact, there's like 3 on the table that just showed up over the weekend. Can't get those played. There might be a game that's not widely available. It's confusing. So we're just going to go by our best judgment.
Right, yeah. If we played it, even if it is not widely available, we're going to consider it. I'm going to consider it. I do what I want.
All Z games have 5 copies or less that are available.
Sorry.
Period.
You know what?
You can't even get them.
I self-printed them.
All right, and I think last thing before we start, happy birthday to Chris Yee.
Happy birthday.
Woo!
It's Chris Yee's birthday today?
Also, happy birthday to my wife.
Happy birthday.
Forget Chris Yee.
Oh, man. You picked the wrong day to have a birthday, Chris Yee. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. All right, folks, we're going to get started with some contributors, and we'll be right back.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University and the Dice Tower. Today we're going to talk about That Time You Killed Me, when that time I killed you multiple times.
Indeed, yes. This game is like a chess endgame played with time travel
Yeah,
on a little mini board.
there you go.
And you did beat me pretty comfortably. I used up too many of my copies
Yes.
on sacrifices that didn't didn't result in trading points.
So the
to
idea
use the chess
is
vernacular.
you want to kill your opponents, and you need to kill them in 2 different eras, which is either past, present, and future, and you kill them by squashing them to the corner.
Yes.
And you can create duplicate of yourself, and by going to the past or just move to the future without creating duplicate. And that just creates, it's very thinky. It's reminds you of chess because it looks like chess pieces, but I really enjoy that. It's a 2-player game, and it also has these things that you can unlock and open, not really unlock, you can open the next scenario that adds rules and items to the game.
You can plant a tree in the past
Yes,
and then push it over on your opponent in the future.
that is very interesting. So yes, hopefully no hard feelings, Darren.
No, of course not.
That is that time you kill me. So hopefully you will get to play that. It's a really kind of like fun, thinky game. There's not a lot of rules.
Indeed.
And that's it. Hopefully you get to play That Time You Killed Me one day, because it's fun. Bye!
Hi, this is Ambie from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm talking about Planet Run, a solo game where you're trying to fix your spaceship and get back to Earth. In Planet Run, each turn you assign dice to different actions. You can hunt, you can explore a sector, gather resources from an explored sector, build a gadget, or fix the ship. Most actions require a certain number of pips rolled in order to succeed, so you can put more dice there in order to increase your chances of success. But the number of dice you get each turn depends on how much food you ate last turn, so you have to keep eating food each turn in order to get enough dice to actually do things. And in order to get food, you need to hunt these different space animals, and if you fail, then they attack you and you could die. There are gadgets that you can build that give you extra dice for certain actions, and that's very helpful. Or there's also a hook gadget that gives you a chance at getting food each turn, which helps you not die. Once you've gotten the right resources, you can fix the ship by spending a die on those resources, but you don't have to roll anything special for that. If you survive to the end of the game without dying, then you calculate your final score by rolling the number of dice equal to the number of ship parts you fixed. So even if you fix the ship well, you could still not do very well and not escape to Earth. Which makes sense since you're just trying to fix the ship yourself and you're probably not qualified for that. Overall, Planet Run is a fun and surprisingly thematic survival game. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz.
All right, so this past several board game breakfasts, I've been taking a look at various games that came out 20 years ago because I ran out of games that came out 30 years ago.
Okay.
1991 was kind of a okay year for gaming.
So you've done this show before, you're saying?
409 times. Actually, 405. I think a few of them have been run by other people. Did you ever run one?
Board Game Breakfast?
Yeah.
Sure, I do it all the time.
No,
on
not the Thursday.
Thursdays,
Not the Thursday
like it
one.
should be.
The Thursday
I
one
don't
is-
understand what's going on. So far, I'm still not sure what's happening.
The Thursday one's garbage.
Also, what are you wearing? I'm so confounded.
Well, I was very Johnny Cash-ish before.
Johnny Cash? Like, thank you very much. That's Johnny Cash.
So 2001 was very close to the time frame. Well, it's very close to when I started reviewing games. I started reviewing games in 2002. But it's really close to where you and I both got into gaming hardcore. Maybe you were a few years later?
2002 sounds about right. It's around that time, maybe.
Sure, but when we started, these games were all very well known.
Yes.
So just kind of briefly talking about the year as a whole.
Yes.
I think 2001's a pretty important year. I don't know that I would call it a great year, but I mean, we have in front of us here, like Munchkin and Zombies both came out that year.
That's right there. Just those two on their own make it a year worth talking about.
Well, I mean, they're both responsible for the
This is why
success
they
of a
call it
company.
a space odyssey, because of these two games.
Dun, 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 it's a Munchkin box.
Da-da,
A zombie
giant
hand.
baby.
Munchkin Baby just, yes. Anyway, no, I think it's, you can love or hate these games, but
Hey, please.
but Munchkin in particular has given a lot of money to the hobby.
Yes, no, that's true. And it has introduced a lot of people to something beyond mass market games. So you have to respect it for that fact alone, that a lot of people have gotten into it.
And also, there are a couple other things in 2001. So we got Transamerica, which was one of the first larger, back then we were calling them gateway games, that style game. This one is not, like, no one talks about it today.
No.
But it was.
There have been a lot of games with these themes, and of course, Ticket to Ride came out a little after and sort of buried it, you know.
Yeah, but it was, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It was a huge game people talked about. Also looking on the list, we have Risk 2210. 2001 was that turning point where Hasbro was bought. I'm sorry, Hasbro bought Avalon Hill.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first. Did you ever play this one?
I don't think I've played 2210, no.
You never will.
No, I won't. It's Risk.
Other games that came out, Winner's Circle was one of the last Sid Saxon games to come out. That was
That's Knizia, yeah.
Sorry. Knizia, it wasn't called Winner's Circle, it was called Royal Turf.
Came out as Royal Turf, got reprinted as Winner's Circle, yeah. Great horse racing game. Very clean, very clever.
Devon was Games Magazine Game of the Year in 2001. The gift series was really strong at this point. When I was playing games back then, if you mentioned abstract, it was the gift series or
Funny
nothing.
thing is, that's still kind of the case. That goes to show you how little abstracts, how little business they tend to do. 'Cause these games, when you mention abstracts, they're still at the top of the conversation. And a few other things we sprinkle in, right? Like Onitama now is part of the conversation. There's a few others, but they are hard to make. It's hard for them to make a splash. These games did, and they still do.
Other things that were happening in 2001, the Blue Box series of games from Descartes, now a defunct publisher gone, was pretty big. There were small little games. One of them, Dragon's Gold, came out in 2001, but there was a lot of them. Demo Crazy,
Castle,
the one where everyone was drinking,
Fantasy
Dracos, Fantasy Business.
Draco and Company.
The Catala had one, with the Western one.
Yeah.
Longhorn.
No,
Steers.
not Longhorn.
Great Western Trail. well, why is he thinking about that?
I don't remember. That's his first game ever.
Was that really?
That's his first design.
I did not particularly like it.
Yeah. I think he might have had something something that got published right before it, but that was his first design.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Catala. I did not realize your true genius then.
Yeah.
Villa Paletti won the Spiel des Jahres to great arguments. It actually won in 2002.
Well, yes, it came out in 2001.
It came out in 2001 because they're slightly off, and it beat Puerto Rico, which is why everyone yelled, although Puerto Rico is not a family game.
Right.
Mike Fitzgerald was already on the scene designing collectible card games, but Wyatt Earp put him on the map. Zendo was the first the pyramid game.
Ice House. The Ice House was the game within that system, right?
Yes.
Zendo was from not the Loonies, not a design in-house, but it used those pieces, and it was one of the more different games that used those pieces. Still is.
It was the first one that kind of got pretty popular compared to the rest.
Yeah, on its own. It had its own box set.
Lord of the Rings had an expansion, Friends and Foes. I only mention this because I'm going to blame Knizia for all the expansions that are out these days. There was expansions before this.
This is where it started. Got it.
Axis and Allies Pacific came out. This was not the first Axis and Allies game. Axis and Allies Europe was, but this one specifically for me, specifically for me, it's Chris Yee's birthday.
Oh, okay, that's fine. What a Yee move.
But it started bringing around the whole. There are new games out there to me.
Especially based on classic games.
Yes.
Like you said, the Risk and the Axis and Allies, they started to take them and rework them into other stuff.
So there's a lot of other things at this point in time. Uwe Rosenberg was still making Bonanza and small games. Alan Moon was kind of at the top of his game. He had both. That was Capital, wasn't it? Was
Capital is his, yeah.
And there was the other game, San Marco, wasn't that his?
San Marco is his, yes.
So there was a lot. This was still in 2001. We were still at the point where there was one company bringing over Euro games, and that was Rio Grande.
Yeah.
Mayfair.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was nothing else at this point in time. Steve Jackson was ruling a lot of things. Z-Man showed up just around this time with their B-movie games, Grave Robbers from Outer Space, and Funkenschlag came out to
which is Power Grid.
it became Power Grid, although it was done with a crayon
the
system
original.
here. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting games that came out during this time. Erland was also picked up by.
That's Amulet. That's also Alan Moon.
Yeah,
He was on top of it. Wow.
He was. But look, Factor Crap came out. All right. Anyhow, 2001 was still a weird year for gaming because there was kind of a very strong split. It was, are you playing these new games? In fact, some people call them these game of ours.
These games of ours.
These games of ours. These new Euro games that were coming out from Germany, even though they weren't quite new.
It was the age of pasted games.
Yes.
You know, where you had to get the German copy because it wasn't coming over and paste it and, you know, give yourself a printed out rule book. Yeah, it was that time. That's what was going on.
And then in America, things were ruled by Steve Jackson, Cheap Ass, the Zombies, games like that were like the main ones. Alan Moon was kind of the outlier. He was an American designer, but he was still designing for the German companies.
Right.
So the shift over would happen over the next decade, but 2001 was a beginning of sorts. So that's 20 years ago. Let's keep moving.
Hi, I'm Jordan with Weeknight Games, and here we are to talk about another game that's great to play on a weeknight. Now, this game is one that I think is great for families and great for playing with kids as well. And this is The Key. So there's a series of games. This is the Sabotage at Lucky Llama Land, and this is different from the Llama Land from Lookout Games. What are the chances that 2 games with Llama Land in the title came out this year? But here we are. This is a deduction game in which it's kind of a real-time game in which you're going to have all these cards scattered across the table and you're trying to solve one case, and the cases are different colors. And all the cards are face down, and you're going to draw the cards that have the color on the back of the card, and it's going to give you a clue, and you're trying to figure out almost clue style. Who did it? How, you know, what did they do it with? Where did they do it? And then also the when did they do it? So there's 4 different things that you're trying to collect in this game. Very clue style. And so you're trying to figure out which of these people sabotaged which rides at this amusement park. And so you're going to be collecting clues about who was at the park on certain days, who was last seen at this place, who left footprints here, who didn't do this. And so you're going to do some deduction stuff, some dry erase boards, and you're just kind of piecing everything together. You're trying to do it the fastest and most efficiently. And then you get to stick this key in this board at the end of the game, and you get to see which code you come to, and it's going to point to the color, and it just has a nice little, it comes to a fun ending. And so this one is it is a light deduction game. This is going to be a very entry-level kind of game that you can play with kids that are maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, and they'll be able to figure it out. You can play cooperatively if you really wanted to. It just works super well. It just kind of all the kind of light deduction games out there, this one really sings, and this one just works really well. So that is the Key series. This is Sabotage at Lucky Llama Land. I'm Jordan.
All right, Winter Spectacular. Our schedule is online. You can go look at it, but there's a lot of things coming up. We're going to be doing four square reviews over the course of each day.
So we're going to be doing 4 square reviews.
Live.
No, 4 of them.
8 square reviews.
Yeah, 16. You don't know how to do your multiplication.
I was
yet.
adding, not multiplying, okay?
Anyhow,
Come on
so
now.
at 10 o'clock, so at 9 o'clock each day, we're going to do our normal show, whatever it is for that day. So today's breakfast, Tuesday is shoot some marbles, Wednesday crowd surfing, and Thursday breakfast
The
again
real breakfast.
with Barnacore in studio.
Oh my goodness. I like that.
Yes.
And you'll be doing a game show for that as well.
I'm prepping for that now.
I cannot wait.
Then at 10 o'clock each day, we're going to be doing a 4 square review. But we're doing it live, not the overview, because that would be really hard to do.
Yes.
But we've never done that before, so we figured we'd do that. We have a lot of top 10s scattered throughout the whole thing. We've all recorded them. Many of our contributors have recorded them. We're going to be playing games later today. We're playing Snakes, Lost Ruins of Arnak with the Leaders expansion. And then at 2 o'clock each day is our big top 10. Today is a top 5. We're all going to talk about our top 5 experiences of the year. And then tomorrow, top 10 surprises with me, Mike, Z, and Chris. And then Wednesday, Roy, Chris, Camilla, and Wendy are giving their top 10 of the year. And Thursday,
The important top 10 of the year.
well, Bonacor's in it.
Oh, never mind.
It's you, me, Mike, and Bonacor.
All right.
So, yeah, so there's all kinds of games. Like, you can look at the schedule. There's stuff all over the place. Each day at noon, we'll be playing a fairly big game, Rise of the Necromancers, Merchants of the Dark Road, Dune with its expansion. We got party games later today. Z's going to get whooped, and me are both going to get whooped by Ruby and Violet playing Dungeon Party. Ruby and Violet's top 10 is later today, so as we're doing, Camilla's doing a top 10 of art games. Chris is doing top 10 quirky games. And today we'll end with Why Gaming is Good from Ben Maddox. There's a lot of stuff coming today and tomorrow. We have about 8 hours of content for you each day, maybe 9. All depends on the mood we're in. So let's keep moving.
Hello everyone, my name is Dave Luza, and I am very fortunate because in a couple of hours I will be flying out to PAX Unplugged. Yes, I can't wait to meet all my friends. And when I'm packing my bag, I'm thinking, which games am I gonna bring? Do I have time to play games? Well, I better. And a game that I love to bring to conventions is a social deduction game, and it is called Don't Mess with Cthulhu! Yes. And some of you might not like social deduction games. Some of my friends really do not like social deduction games. But if you dive into this one, you will find that it's actually a lot of fun. So you get a secret role. You're either an investigator or you are a cultist. And the investigators, they are looking for elder signs. They look like this. And the cultists, they hope to reveal and summon Cthulhu. In this game, of course, you are allowed to lie. You look at your hand and you see, oh, you know what? I have 2 of those good elder signs. Of course, you can lie about that. I'm putting them in front of me, shuffling them. I don't know which one is an elder sign, but I can tell my investigator friends, because we're all good, right? I say, hey, my friends, I have 2 of those good cards. If you pick one of my cards to reveal it, a good chance is that it is an elder sign. But if you are a cultist and you look at your hand and you see 2 of those elder signs, you might say, no, I'm sorry. All my cards are empty rooms. I do not have an elder sign. Either way, people might come in and reveal one of your cards. And of course, if you lied and you got caught, then people know that you're probably a cultist. But there's always a reason to lie, because what would have happened if you were good and you had a Cthulhu? You don't want to reveal Cthulhu because then the game would be over. So you'd rather say, I have no good cards, just to make sure that no one is taking any of your cards. Or how about you're a cultist, but you have Cthulhu in your hand and you're saying it to everyone, I've got 3 good cards. Chances are one of them will be flipped over when you choose from those 5 cards. And of course, you're hoping that Cthulhu will be flipped over. There's a lot to have fun with in this game, and I highly recommend it for conventions. It is my go-to game to bring. I would love to know what your game is that you will always bring to a convention. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dave Luza. Bye-bye!
All right, in my Nostradamus every year, I get this thing where I predict what's going to happen over the course of the year. I started it a while ago, and so now I'm stuck with it. Especially with this year, since I had no idea what to predict would happen this year. Yeah. So it's time to go back and look at these 10 predictions to see if they are come true or not, to see how well I've done.
Okay.
I'll let you be the judge if I've done it right or not.
How well you did? Okay.
Because sometimes they're a little bit hazy.
Like Nostradamus.
There will be things in a game with a cat on the cover that comes out this year.
That's a good one.
All right, so ready? This is things I made these predictions in December last year. Next week, or when we come back, I'll be doing 10 predictions for this coming year. It's always hard to come up with these predictions. So first of all, I said that Fantasy Flight Games. Now, I said very clearly when I did the video that this was not something I hoped would happen.
Sure.
But something I thought would happen.
You can't help the things you see in your visions.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're in more than I am.
No, I'm saying you said Nostradamus.
Give me Johnny Carson's turban here. I said the Fantasy Flight Games would be, by the end of the year, just a name. Nothing much, because right before that had happened, they had given X-Wing and Legion away to another company. And I said they would be just a name or a stagnant company.
I think that's partly true.
Yeah, but even
They did just come out with Unfathomable, which feels like a nice big gasp, but
And Descent. So both
But you're
of those,
right. They're doing very little. They are certainly a mere shadow of the FFG of old. Yes. It was a
don't know.
softball, is what I'm saying.
I don't know,
Way
but
to
there's...
flex it, Nostradamus.
I don't know, but I wanted them to be a bigger company.
Well,
I
you
will
should have
say that
predicted that then.
I think that their in-flight report from Gen Con was the worst in-flight report they've ever done. And the one they did in the year 2020, I've gone back 20 years, was pretty bad.
Okay.
I'll give myself 50% on that one. All right. Then I said that Dune Imperium and Dwellings of Eldervale would both hit the top 100 ranked games at Board Game Geek.
Well, Dune Imperium is indeed.
It's number 24, or it was last week when I checked this.
Dwellings of Eldervale
It's
is
number
not.
23 with another 3, 233.
Yeah, sorry.
That's pretty high.
No.
50%.
Okay. So far you have 1 point.
Well, you know, I should have said Lost Ruins of Arnak, because that did make the top 100.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think Dwellings of Eldervale just,
Hasn't gotten to enough people.
yeah.
Not enough people have
Mike's
it.
sad
It is
over
a-
there because
it is a
Mike thinks it should be in the top
It's
100.
a slightly esoteric game also with a lot of, it's a stew. You have to like it all. You have to
It's
be
also
an
hard to get to the table.
omni-gamer. You have to be someone who likes all these different kinds of games to really like it. You know, I respect people who like it. Mike likes it. Therefore, I respect Mike.
You know what I
And
respect
that is
him?
the only reason I respect Mike.
All right, number 3. I said 6 of the top 10 ranked games from 2021, as of this point, would be Kickstarter games.
That can't be right. 6 of the 10? Okay,
Well,
let's see.
let
What do
me-
you got?
Let's pull it up here.
Okay, let's fact check it.
I'm gonna do the advanced search here.
Oh.
And we're gonna go from 2021 to 2021.
Wait, but you mean the top 10
Ranked
of
games.
the year only?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant like the top 10, which would contain 6 Kickstarter games.
It doesn't change enough for me to be able to do that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so first one is Sleeping Gods.
Yes.
That was a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Cascadia.
Yes.
Yes.
I think.
The Crew Mission Deep Sea.
Nah.
Ankh.
Yes.
Gods of Egypt. What? Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition.
Yes.
Oath. Chronicles of Empire and Exile.
I think so.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Destinies. Yes.
Yes.
Destinies was
okay.
one. It was a big Kickstarter.
Yes.
Canvas.
Yes.
Cubitos.
No.
Meadow.
Nah.
No. Did we do 10? Was that 10?
I don't know. I'm counting the yeses only.
How many you have?
I got this many fingers.
That was 10.
Okay.
So you got 7?
You got 7.
I said 6. Woo! I said at least 6.
But you were off by 1. What kind of prediction is this, man? You're supposed to be on the money.
Kickstarter really is where it's at this point. Even if you just throw it up there and then sell it normally. Now,
Sure.
the ones that weren't, Cubitos and Meadow, and what was the third one? It was, The Crew.
Yes.
So Thames and Cosmos has not yet gone to Kickstarter.
Right.
I don't think you need to for a card game.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's it shows you the power of crowd surfing, yeah.
of crowd surfing.
Crowd funding.
Our show is just that good.
That's what I meant. You know the one I mean. Hey, it's early. I'm not used to doing this weird thing on Monday. This is a Thursday show. I'm confused.
All right. My number 4 prediction,
Yes.
I can't remember what I said here, actually. I just wrote the word not top. That's not very helpful at all. What did I say?
How am I supposed to know? You're the worst Nostradamus ever. Like, you say a prediction, not only can you not get it right, you can't remember what the prediction was.
I think I said that no game would make the top 100 from this year. But we'll just say I was wrong since I can't obviously write enough words here.
Wrong.
Okay, number 5 prediction. If someone in chat can tell me what my prediction was,
Are
I
you
don't
kidding
remember.
me?
I don't remember. All right, number 5 was I said 3 medium companies would be absorbed this year.
Okay.
And medium-sized, just means not Asmodee or whatever.
Okay.
I don't think we saw that. We saw Greater Than Games just got absorbed by Flat River Group. We saw Tasty Minstrel disappear. But we've seen a couple small companies get picked up. I think this one is incorrect.
It continues to happen, though. This will continue to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think there were as many big profile ones that happened this year as there have been, say, when Asmodee was gobbling up everybody a couple years ago, or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, right? Like when they bought FFG and these people, that will not be replicated, I think, honestly, ever. Where they buy up that many big companies in that short a time frame. That's my number one prediction.
Forever?
Forever, because you can never tell, you know what I mean? But I guess I never know.
All right. Number 6, I said legacy games would not be continued on. I said at most there would be one major legacy game that came out this year. Here's the problem with that prediction. First of all, it's 100% correct. But the word legacy is getting kind of nebulous.
Yes.
Like Sleeping Gods is not legacy.
Correct. It's a campaign game.
Oath is not legacy.
Correct.
But it toes the line.
That's the problem, I think, that as people continue to evolve game designs, they find ways around the weaknesses of legacy games, such as lack of replayability, the necessity for permanent changes, that sort of thing. They'll find ways around that and improve on it. So if they feel like that, though, right?
Well, there is more legacy.
Sleeping Gods and some of those games do feel like legacy games, kind of, enough, you know?
Well, they just announced that there's a legacy game, that dinosaur one.
That's true.
From Funko.
The Isla Nublar thing.
New Risk Legacy.
Yeah, the new Risk Legacy, but that's coming out again
There's
next year.
a new Risk Legacy?
From Hasbro.
Is the Initiative Legacy?
No, the Initiative is not legacy. It's a campaign game.
It's not legacy. Although, technically, it's harder to put that one back in the box. There's some things
Really?
that when you do them, it's hard to put back.
Okay, I guess, okay.
Maybe you haven't got to that point
Maybe
yet.
I have not gotten to that point, or I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, okay.
Alrighty. Well, anyway, I was correct on that.
I know the new Dune Secrets, House Secrets, you put stickers on things. If you do that, you can replay it. Though you really don't need to put the stickers on things, but it's kind of a legacy game just because you cannot take that back.
Oh, that's what I said. Colin got it. My number 4 was, I said, no Kickstarter in 2021 would top the amount of funding that Frosthaven made.
And that's probably right.
That is very right.
Frosthaven made approximately $312 million.
I will say, I am surprised, as a whole, how well Kickstarting and GameFound projects did over the last 2 years. I fully expected, with everything happening in the world, that Kickstarter would go down a bit. It did not seem to.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Colin. All right. I said that solo was becoming a bigger thing, and that a solo-only game would hit the top 100 ranked games in Board Game Geek.
Nah.
Hey. This is one of those predictions where I'm like, I got it wrong. No, I'm kidding. I don't even know what would have a chance of doing that. Like if I...
Under Falling Skies?
Under Falling Skies, there isn't that many.
There's not that many games that are only 4-1. That's the thing.
I just assumed that something would come out that would be that popular.
Final Girl might do it.
Final Girl might do it. All right.
Final Girl might do it.
Thank you, Mike, for one of my predictions for next time. Under Falling Skies got to 227.
Okay.
That's pretty high.
You said in the top 1,000.
So, give me a pen. Alrighty. I said that the first major event of 2021 would be Essen.
You're so wrong about things.
It was Gen Con.
It's Gen Con.
It was pretty close, though. Gen Con was what, August?
Yeah. You mean just
Or late
time-wise?
August.
Because they're very far away geographically speaking.
Yes.
Anatomically speaking, you're way off.
At that time when I recorded this, I had no idea what was going on. They had already canceled everything up to like March.
Yeah.
So we didn't know. But hey, we're recording this directly after PAX happened. It looks like the major conventions are kind of back.
Yeah.
Who knows what they'll be like in the future. Then I said digital cons. would be that in 2021, that they might be run, but they wouldn't be run well, and that there would be very few digital-only cons and things like that. I'm 100% right on that one. I don't think PAX did anything digital. If they did,
think so.
Essen,
It's hard to simulate what you get at a convention, people who like going to conventions, in a virtual setting. It's just hard. It's not the same. I don't know how they could do it. People tried a few different ways. They even tried to do like the whole VR virtual thing where you're like, you feel like you're walking through the place, and that's...
Yeah, I think the closest
what is it,
to that was
Lawnmower Man? No.
CGE, and a couple other companies got together and did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just not. Look, there's good things about them. There still is virtual stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the virtual cons are, like, for example, All Shucks did a virtual con, but essentially it was the same as one of our spectaculars in many ways.
Yeah.
It's a show, and I think that's working well.
Sure.
But just doing a con, they're just not, from behind the scenes, they're not very profitable. I know this for sure. And the resource and amount of time that goes into them is a lot. And a con that's running at the same time, you would need to devote as much resources to running it online, practically.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and then finally I said, I got hokey here. I said 2021 would be the year of hope.
Who's
Because I was Hope Summers is the X-Men. Who,
Oh, okay.
No, but I you know what though? 2021. I know a lot of people, and I'm not talking about you if you're watching. If you had a personally bad 2021, I can't control that. But I thought overall 2021 was better than 2020.
Yes. Yeah, I think
The vaccines
I think
themselves,
in history,
I was like, what?
I think in 20 years, no one's going to be like, whoo, 2021, am I right? It'll be 2020.
Sure.
2020 was the year that will stick around in people's heads decades from now as like, remember all that bad stuff that went down.
Now, I will argue that, 2021 was probably not as amazing as people had hoped.
Yeah.
I even, when I did the video, I watched that, I said, I think some people had the idea that when midnight came on December 31st in 2020, everything would get better.
Well, yeah.
It took a while. We're like, where are these vaccines coming? But I feel like we're in a better, at least at Dice Out, we're in a better place than we were at the beginning of the year.
Sure.
Also, we moved studios. That was not in my predictions
Yeah, and working
at all.
working remotely and all that stuff was a big part of what was going on in 2020 that we were able to undo and come back in together and work together again and present things together again. I think it was an improvement over 2020, absolutely. The year of hope? Yeah, depends how optimistic you are.
I hope it's good. 2022 is the real year of hope. I won't put that in my predictions for next year. I hate doing these predictions because I have to try to think of things that might happen and that will.
It's not even, it's sort of thinking outside the box on a lot of these, too.
Well,
You did pretty well. Overall, you did well.
all right. We're almost done. Let's keep going.
Hello everyone, today I'm just going to show you quickly Slay the Spire. This is a deck building like video game. You probably heard the likes of Tom Vasel talking about this sort of over a year ago now, and I've been playing it for that long and still enjoying it. It's a very simple building cards up game. I just thought I'd show it off quickly in case you hadn't seen it. Basically, you're going to pick one of these 4 characters. Now they will play a little bit differently. At the start, you'll only have the availability to play 1 and they'll slowly unlock. And their decks play slightly different. They've got different styles of abilities. So starting with your hand of 5 cards, you'll be using them. And you can just basically absolutely smash down your opponent. But you've only got so much mana. Now, that was a really bad turn because I'm about to take 11 damage. I can't play anything more because I have spent all my mana. And that is a absolute chomp that I just got there. So I could defend. I can see he's going to do 7 damage to me in this next round. And that's probably a good idea. Get some defense out and get a hit in. Because I'd got 10 shield, which will now disappear, I didn't take any of the 7 damage he was attacking with. Now it's time to really bang down some damage. But I'm going to throw that down just to add a little bit of block for myself. Taking a little bit of damage, again, you don't want to take too much damage, but, this case, he's already dead. At the end, when you have defeated the monster, you're going to get some rewards. So, you can pick them all up. Potions that'll help, more cards that add to your deck. There's ways to thin your deck, bump it up by buying cards. It's a lot of fun. And I think, basically, if you like deck building board games, you'll like Slay the Spire. Anyway, thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great day.
Hey everyone! Today on the Plastic Canvas we're turning Vicar Amelia from Bloodborne from this into this in just 2 minutes. Hey everyone, Matt here from the Plastic Canvas, and today on 2 Minute Mini we are painting Vicar Amelia. Now if you caught the last episode of 2 Minute Mini where I painted the Cleric Beast, you will immediately recognise this approach that I'm doing, which is the exact same way that I painted the Cleric Beast. And that's where I start by laying down a zenithal undercoat, so hitting the whole mini in black first, and then dry brushing in a top-down motion with grey, covering a fair portion of the mini, and then dry brushing with white, again in that same top-down motion, but just not covering up all of the grey. And then just using washes over the top of that. And the point here is that because the washes are so thin, it allows all of the tones of that undercoat to come through. So anywhere that the washes go over white, it's going to appear much, much lighter than anywhere it goes over any of the black. And this technique just works so well for these highly textured minis that have lots of hair or fur or something like that, because the wash just flows so nicely into all of the recesses, so you get all of your highlighting and shading done for free, which would be a very time-consuming process to do if you were going to individually pick out all of those furs or hairs and try and gradually create different tones to make the upper parts look as though they're being hit by more light than the underside. And so you can really quickly knock out a mini while still painting it to a good tabletop quality because you still have that highlighting and shading done. Because Vicar Amelia here probably took me, I don't know, maybe 40 to 45 minutes in total to paint, and I am really happy with how she looks. Out on the board, she looks really cool and has that kind of sinister and menacing look about her that I was going for. But so much of that comes from using this wash technique, which gives that really cool, dark, gritty, and dirty sort of look that matches this theme so well. But if you would like to see the full version of this video, where I go through each of these steps in greater detail, you can head over to my channel, The Plastic Canvas, and I hope you enjoy your breakfast.
Alrighty, well that is it for Board Game Breakfast. That's the beginning of the Winter Spectacular. We're back in 17 minutes with our first Foursquare review. Luza is going to be doing his top 10 of the year. I got my top 10 reworkings of games, and then we're playing Snakes!
On a plane or right here?
Snakes on a table. I had enough of these. You know what? Let's end here before I get in trouble. We'll be back soon. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Z Garcia.
Have fun fighting off snakes.